Good morning, everyone. This is Tracy Newman from the Navigator's Tarot. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find me at my website if you would like a personal reading from me, which is sleepywisdom.com, which the link is in the description below. And also, you can find me at YouTube under Sleepy Wisdom as well. It's a freezing cold day here today. It's like 8 degrees this morning. Anyway, fire's going, but I have to go out to work very soon. So I thought I'd just jump on here and do a general energy report. Really interesting. The Schumann resonance. I don't know if the Schumann resonance report, I don't know who puts it out, but it's literally off the charts this morning, apparently. So the Ascension work that, the Ascension is actually happening. The awakening, the Ascension is definitely happening. So if you are feeling, our bodies are going to have to adjust to the new frequencies that are coming in. The Schumann resonance is a resonance field that picks up the frequencies of the resonance. I don't really know anything much about it, but anyway, a lot of other people do. I just saw it on Facebook today and it was looking completely different to what it usually looks like, and the person who put it up said that pretty much that we are literally in these higher frequencies now, and they're hitting the body, they're hitting everybody. So there should be quite a few more people beginning to awaken and starting to ascend into these high frequencies, which may bring about discomfort, body aches and pains, that sort of thing, as we shift a lot of the older energy out of our bodies and our cellular structure, and as it begins to align to these different frequencies that are actually moving us into a completely different resonant field. I don't really know, but those sorts of things are occurring. So if you are getting lots of aches and pains, and that could well be what's going on, because our bodies will need to adjust to these higher frequencies and must purge out anything that else is of a lower dense frequency. So our bodies will have to adjust, and it can be very uncomfortable as it does this. Okay, so the energies for this week. Yeah, so that split between heaven and earth now is actually that split is actually narrowing. It's kind of like, it's not as wide, We're beginning to actually move into these higher frequencies. And so what's actually occurring is there's like a meeting of the two coming together. So it's like it's like a blending in of the higher frequency energies, and the lower frequencies are now being purged out. So there is this heaven-earth type thing, like a Vesica Pisces, where you have the two circles that meet in the middle. And that is actually beginning to occur now as we start to really move into these higher frequencies, and the lower frequencies are purged out. We're moving from a 3D into a 5D structure, if that makes any sense, a higher resonant field. And that's exactly what I see. It's sort of like we're moving, it's like a blending in of the two energies. So that it's not quite so, because if we didn't actually blend and actually give our bodies time to purge out these older energies, we literally, if it was just 3D jumping into 5D, we would literally have to leave this meat suit that we have and move our souls and spirits into a completely our consciousness into a completely different field of resonance. You know, heaven, 5D, whatever you want to call it. So right now what's happening is we are literally changing our frequencies from inside out in these meat suits that we occupy. And so it's actually moving into a higher resonant field with our human bodies intact. It's an amazing thing that's happening right now. And we have love, the Two of Cups, which is about unconditional love between two people. We've been getting that a lot. So a lot of unions are actually coming in with relationships, a lot of twin flame relationships, and soulmate relationships are coming together. That seems to be prevalent for a lot of people at this point in time. As we're moving in, as we're moving into these higher frequency energies, these higher frequency relationships start to come about and start to manifest, and that is exactly what is occurring. So even though we're moving away from that twin flame type of thing, really, it's kind of like we're moving away from that twin flame genre and moving into something completely different, which is all about unconditional love and becoming one with all that is. So when that occurs, it's like literally, it's like anybody that you meet is placed in your path or on your path for a reason. And quite often the frequencies literally have to sort of like become they have to meet, and they actually have to meet on the same level. And that's what's occurring, because as we're moving into these higher frequencies, then the love frequency is becoming more paramount, and that unconditional love frequency is coming in. And quite often the people that come into our lives look completely different to what we have ever sort of looked at in the past. So it's quite an interesting time for a lot of people. So all of those that were in twin flames relationships, or like dynamics, I wouldn't call them relationships because they are literally just dynamics, really, where you're a mirrored soul, and you actually then, of course, trigger each other to the point of really being able to be with that person is not really, it's quite challenging. So we're moving away from that, because literally we're moving into unconditional love. And so unconditional love encompasses all and everybody that you meet. And it will be, so the people that you actually meet and the relationships that are now going to come into your life will be to basically meet a higher standard or a higher frequency that's within you, so that we can ascend and move forward. And so there will be soul relationships that come into being that are going to hold a particular resonant field that will match the higher vibration that we're moving into. And of course, anything that will need to be purged out in these relationships will literally have to. So a lot of the time, the people that you meet up with are usually, there to trigger you to heal as quickly as possible, so that we can ascend and move into a higher resonant field. I hope that makes sense. And then we have the Emperor here, which of course is, it's like, this is upside down. This is the two of, no, it's not, it's the 5. 5. Yeah, so the 5 of Swords. Someone is chained, bound, and the 5 of Swords, there's a lot of conflict within. But that is now, it's like the wool was once over our eyes, and it's now being peeled back, and we are the ones removing it from our eyes, so that we can see the truth about ourselves, about the relationships that we're in, and also too about the truth of the world in which we live. And then we've got the Emperor, which of course is like the masculine energy in its highest form. And that is what a lot of the masculines now are going to move into this higher resonant field where everything must be purged out if you are not of a higher vibration. And the masculines, like at this point in time, will really be going through it because this is now about purging out anything that does not remain, that cannot remain in those higher frequencies. Then we have the Nine of Swords. Once again, that's about, you know, the Nine of Swords is a burden, can be quite burdensome. But I feel that at the moment, what is really quite burdensome is the fact that we do need to purge out these old energies as we move into a higher frequency. So that's really what's going on at the moment, just purging out anything that does not need to be in our resonant field of change that's happening, because we're moving and shifting and changing. And we've also got the King of Earth and the yep. So I keep getting about this new financial system that is coming in. There is a new one coming in. It is not the one backed by the CBDC though. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. If you can at all possible, use cash. Say no to the CBDC's bullshit of using card only. The more we say no, the more we stand up and say no, the more they have to take notice. And the more people that do that, the more they have to take notice. Yeah, so there does seem to be a beginning. But it's going to be a quite fruitful time if we allow it to be. As I've said in the past before, there seems to be like two kind of financial systems, but the one that they're selling at the moment is not to be trusted and to pull, you know, not to pull your money out, because I never ever have gotten that anybody will lose their money from their bank accounts. But if you can at all possible, use as much cash as you can, and if you can, do that, and try and stay away from the CBDC's model of financial institution that needs to fall. And it will, as we're moving into these high frequencies, it just will not be able to stay. It just can't. So it will fall, no matter what happens. On an energetic level, it's already occurring. Because we have abundance here. So, you know, these are the general energies at the moment. There is abundance in every way, shape and form. And we just have to start to see that and move ourselves away from the old ways of thinking, the old ways of being, the old institutions that we've relied on. We now need to leave them behind, and we need to find a new way. And of course that is occurring as we begin to change and shift and descend, then so too will our outer world. So it all begins from within, with our relationship with ourselves, and also too with the relationships that we have with others. As they begin to change, shift and descend, then we're going to see that in our outer world as well. So yeah, that's what's going on at the moment. Apparently that we are shifting and moving. And if you, of course, take a lot of care, a lot of warm baths, going out in nature if you can to ground as much as possible, because these energies can be really intense, and they'll be as intense as they need to be for each and every single one of us, and individually in whichever way that needs to occur for all of us. So for some it could be a dark night of the soul. For others it could literally be trying to purge it out of our physical bodies in the way of extreme pain, discomfort, sometimes purging out through diarrhea and all that other nausea, vomiting, that sort of thing. So it's like, just go with the flow, and as much as possible, and know that this is all for the good, that we are moving and purging out anything that does not, that we cannot take with us into these higher realms. Yeah, so that's what I have for you. It was a bit of a slow start, but I kind of got there in the end. Okie dokie. So, have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.